morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Bruno, and I'm here with the darling and so precious Liz King Caruso. Dahlia's out today, so sorry, Dahlia, we'll do the best we can. We'll inject your little punch of energy in where we can. But welcome to Cut the Shit, Cue the Genius. And we are here to listen to what our geniuses have to say about mixing business and leisure at business to business events. And we came up with the idea because there is a lot of talk about bleisure. Whoever made up that word, Dahlia would be like,
Dahlia's favorite
"Oh
thing.
my God, just do away with the B word."
Yes.
Is what she would say. But I'm also thinking that for future generations, I think of my kids and their kids. They're not going to really be enamored with the way that we produce a lot of events right now. We have to inject some sort of more fun, not just some fun, more fun. I was also thinking about what Scott Galloway said, that younger people who at the moment can't afford homes because A, there aren't any to buy that are affordable, and B, they're just not earning the kind of wages aren't keeping pace with inflation. They're going to, he predicts, use more of their discretionary income for travel. And I thought, why can't we get a piece of that action with events? Why can't we make them fun enough so that people will want to spend their own money, even if their boss won't send them, on different events? And we're partially there, but I think we could do a lot better. So, Liz, talk about some of the things that you have seen already that are sort of bleisure related. Let's create a baseline, first of all, for where we're at now.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I think first of all, a lot of people, when they're thinking of bleisure, automatically default to thinking about the location of the event. Like it has to be a place people would want to go to. And I think, I mean, I guess that's important, but I know what you want to talk about today is a lot beyond that. It's about bringing the fun into the event itself, regardless of where it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that's one of the main things that people are thinking of. And of course, it's something that the attendees are thinking of when they're going to book the ticket. It's like, how easy is it to get there? How expensive is it to get there? Is that somewhere I even want to go? Is that someplace I'd want to extend my trip? So all of that we already know is happening. So it's something to think about. And then I guess in terms of fun, we've seen all kinds of things like the puppy corners and the quiet rooms and stuff like that. And I guess when you and I were talking right before the show, but also when I read the description of the show, I was thinking, there's just, I think we could go so far beyond shoving the fun in a corner and then doing the event the same way that it's done. So I'm kind of instantly thinking about some of the fun ideas where it's like the fun directly. But I think one of the baseline things is to also think about the content that we have to share and more fun ways to do that also. Just so we're not just like, there's the stuff you have to do, but don't worry, we're teasing you over here long enough. If you stay till 2:00, you get to see the puppies. I don't think that's really the best approach either. So really thinking about like the speakers, the way that they deliver, the format of the sessions, how many people are using. I mean, we've seen a lot of our clients recently, because of AV costs, just start to get rid of projectors. It's like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not paying those ridiculous fees. And then it causes you to rethink. They're using the app to store the presentations and the slides and stuff. Hey, Arthur. So I just think that some of that is stuff like just baseline things to think about. You can't just shove the fun in and hope that that will get people to spend their money to travel to your event.
Yeah, and maybe just think of like the promotional brochure or whatever for the event. It's really a lot of PBS, but then we switch to MTV, so don't worry.
Yeah,
exactly. Or what's the channel for watching Congress?
Whatever that channel is.
You might think it's C-SPAN, but really, we're gonna give you a little fun.
I mean, people are not going to be tricked. It's not like, oh, there's a puppy corner. That sounds like the most fun event to go to.
I'm going to spend all my personal income.
Yeah, that is not exactly what I think is attracting people. So I think it's, the content and the people. You want to think about, those are the two main reasons people go to business events. They want to make those connections. So other than, one-on-one meetings and trade show floors, I like the idea of thinking about like specific lunches that people can opt into, dinners, times where they're already there, they're making the most of it instead of just scarfing down a sandwich in a hallway somewhere. We can make that
Mhm.
experience for people, and they can make the connections that they want to make. They can have the conversations that they want to talk about, like they can be by topic or whatever. I mean, none of that is really new. Leanne saying, considering I'm allergic to animals, puppy corner never gets my attention. There's nothing wrong with a good puppy corner, but it's
No,
just
but what about a pony corner, like those little tiny Shetland pony, whatever those miniature ponies? They're like dogs, but they're so much cuter. I
or goat
mean, would
yoga,
that work? Or the miniature
but not for
goats?
someone who's allergic to animals. That's not going to work for
Well,
Leanne.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Something you said though, I think there has to be a shift in mindset to a certain extent because even thinking about fun locations, some associations don't want to go to fun locations because they want to like jam all their attendees into a convention center, and then they don't want them to leave during the day and start wandering around. A lot of groups won't go to Disney World, Orlando.
I know, but I think that whole mentality, like you said, it has to shift because
Yeah.
the idea is like what we're planning, like just think of the logic behind that. What we're planning is so boring and so time consuming that there can't be anything else around that could distract. Because if they have a choice, they'd go anywhere else. That's
Yeah.
essentially what these pets are saying. It's like, okay, if there's ever a sign that you need to rethink things, I would imagine that would be
That
it.
would be one of them. Well, I mean, when you look at the premise of a South by Southwest, a sort of festival kind of experience, or now even fan fests that are happening around, sporting franchises or even, I don't know, comic books and anime and all of that stuff. Uh, Blending that sort of vibe with a business vibe sounds like a daunting sort of goal, but I think it's one that we have to like really lean into more than we have in the past. I mean, I would love to have more sort of like leisure type things that I'm interested in during the event, in the event, just to give my brain a break. I can't just sit through session after session after session and not feel like I'm slowly dying a little bit inside or, you
Yeah, I
know,
mean, I feel like one of the
so
hard things that business events have to deal with is the idea of, you know, the content being the main driver, and
Mhm.
there's just not enough like, if you think of a Comic-Con, it is a standard trade show,
Yeah.
standard educational sessions, but the vibe of I'm going there feels totally different. And what are they doing? I mean, you can wear your costumes there, but really it's about I can't wait to go meet those people. I can't wait. They're happy to sit in those educational sessions. They're dying to get into them. The lines are
Yeah.
ridiculously long. And it's not an event that's been totally rethought. I mean, if you look at just the
Yeah.
nuts and bolts of it, but I think the shift that they have, like what they're doing and what festivals are doing that business events are not doing, is finding the common passion that your attendees have. Like, what's the part that excites them about what you're doing and making it more about that than because there's nothing wrong with continuing ed sessions and trade show. Like, they have to meet the people. And if you find the reason why they'd want to meet these people, it's just like often you're shoving a triangle into a circle box and you're like, I don't know why no one wants to do this. Well, because it doesn't make sense the way that you're doing it.
Yeah, one thing I also thought of, does an event like this that has a healthy dose of leisure embedded in it, does it have to be sort of a non-selling, non-transactional, you know, businessy type of event? Should the vibe that the event organizers promote be one of, more fun than business? Or can you have both and still make it a business event?
I think you can have both
Mhm.
if you have a topic that people are actually interested in.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is even, the I can't think of an example, but let's just say the most random associations, like a random last night, this is totally random, but last night my husband has Crohn's and
Yeah.
he is part of a baseball collecting community.
Yeah.
They break, I don't know what it's
Mhm.
called. Anyway, someone else probably knows what I'm talking about. And
Like
they
card trading?
But they open them live on YouTube,
Okay,
and
yeah.
you buy into these breaks or something, and then
Yes.
you get what you get, and it's luck or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's one of the members is like works with the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. They did this specific break last night specifically to raise money for the organization, and the
Yeah.
interest was so high. And I was just thinking, this is genius. Why are people not doing more of this stuff? Where they did a break specifically for raising money for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. They had several of their community members chatting about it. Craig was one of them. And I was
Uh-huh.
just thinking it's a really cool way to like tap into something that people are interested in that ties to a really clear purpose or cause
Mhm.
that gets people excited in a different way. They weren't talking about baseball, they were talking about Crohn's and colitis. But I think it's that. It's like figuring out what's the piece that people are excited about when it relates to their job or to the kind of business that they want to make, entrepreneurial conferences. You don't have to like convince people to go make some relationships. That's what they're there for. It's exciting to them. So I know that that's harder for some organizations, but within the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, they found that they have this subgroup of people who really love this baseball thing, or whatever. It's not even just
Yeah.
baseball, all kinds of cards, but whatever. How are we not figuring that out? And
Yeah,
then
and
tapping into that.
I think the idea of an unboxing sort of, activation would be fun. I remember the time Dahlia posted on social media once that her daughter Lily opening up, like, a gift that Dahlia got from a tech company or something. It was like a bunch of swag that this company sent to Dahlia's house, and Lily's just like, "A pen? Whatever," throws it out, like whatever, a screen wiper thing, whatever. I don't know about that. And then she's like, "Oh, I really like this. I'm taking this." And it was really humorous. And it also, I mean, I was thinking, wow, that particular company is now getting amazing exposure. So I think
Mhm.
there's ways to not only think of fun things like that that benefit other groups, but also sponsors can be so integral in this piece.
Totally. Yeah.
Usually sponsors are kind of restricted. It's like when I was even producing events, we would have sponsors that are like, I want to do, like, where the attendees come in and they go in these vehicles, and then we whatever, tractors, and then we race them around the building and stuff like that. And everyone's like, oh, no, 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 the
Yeah.
liability. Oh my God, that's all we need is some, drunk attendee to fall off the tractor, the like garden tractor or whatever, and get injured. No, we can't do that. But sponsors are really so much more creative than we allow them to be, that they could be partners in this sort of bleisure experience if we allowed them to, within reason. I mean, we're not
Sure. Of
setting
course.
things on fire, blowing things up, probably not a
Without
good
the proper
idea.
precautions, at least.
Yeah, so stuff like that. But you were talking about an event that you were doing where it was a mix of, business and leisure. Talk about that a little bit, about what they've done in the past.
Yeah. So this is
This
for
was
one
before the
client.
show you were talking, not just now.
Yeah, yeah. This is for a client who does this event every year for their members. So it's about engagement and education and retaining. So they're always looking to get these members to stay, which is, I think, what any business organization is trying to do right now.
Yeah,
So their conference has always been 2 days in different locations. It changes every year. And the first day is mostly content and education. The second day is half education. And then in the afternoon, they take them out for an activity. So in the past, like last year, we took this group, they were in Nashville. So we took them to the Country Music Hall of Fame, and they did a tour, and then they had this experience of writing a song all together. And it was such a great way. It was just fun. But they wrote a song about the organization together.
oh
They
my
then
gosh.
had as a surprise at their annual conference in the fall, the CEO and a few of the other members performed it on stage. They had like really practiced it and made it into a whole thing. And it's become kind of a ritual with them, which is really fun. But this year we're taking kind of a different step and doing more of a choose your own adventure style, because we
Mhm.
know that like even that was only fun for a certain number of people. Some people were kind of like, I mean, no one complained, thank God, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. So this year they're going to be in New Orleans, and we're doing a thing where everything is where there's several options for that activity time. They could go on a haunted tour. They could go on a riverboat,
Figure
whatever
out
they
how to
want to
cast a
do.
spell on someone in
Yeah, you
instead
could
of
figure
voodoo
out.
shops. Yeah.
I know the client was like,
Yeah.
"Let's do a haunted tour," and Jennifer, who I work with, and I were both like, "No, I don't want to do that.
I would love
I
that.
would never do that. I
I
can't
would
even
love
go
that.
in the dark." So that's what actually inspired it. We're like, "Okay, that sounds really fun for some people and not fun at all for other people." But I think it's cool to let them kind of choose. And then we were even thinking that you could, flow that through the content that choose your own adventure style is like, it doesn't have to be we're all in the same room doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
But how could you like let them choose the type of lunch that they want? How we even were like saying that, how you usually do like meal selections, chicken, fish, whatever.
Yeah.
And the fourth option being surprise me. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens, bring whatever. So yeah, I wonder how many
Or
people
the
would.
haunted lunch, Mississippi River Cruise lunch,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever lunch, you get crawdads between a bun. I don't know.
We'll see.
Um, so I wanted to also talk about what would the logistics around planning something for Bleisure be like? Because it's not just about like things that everyone can do together. I think we've kind of nailed that in terms of, bringing people together. But when we talk about introducing people to maybe unexpected experiences or hobbies, that they might like or might be interested in learning more about, and how would we A, figure out what people liked, and B, how would we execute on that? So when you think about the range of hobbies, it could be anything from hiking and, climbing rocks and stuff like that to knitting and pickleball and, because it's a broad range of ages. So with your meeting planner hat on, tell me how you would begin thinking through the logistics around these. Mystery lunch,
Mystery
Jordan.
lunch. We got one
Jordan,
buy-in for the mystery lunch.
I think we can make it a contest and go, okay, we're going to have a mystery lunch and we're going to pick one person to design that lunch, kind of like an Iron Chef
See,
for
that's so
lunches.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, you could add little flavor like that the whole time. Anyway, logistics around planning, figuring out what people want to do and how do you do it.
It's the same thing I feel like we've been talking about for years as it relates to
Mhm.
everything, technology, whatever. You have to know
Yeah,
your audience, which means you have to talk to them. And
yeah,
you have to find not just the loudest people, the influencers, the clicks, but the people who are not currently engaged, the people who came and didn't come back, the people who come every year and don't really go to many sessions at all. Their
yes.
organization is paying and they never show up. Call them and have a conversation. We're looking to change things up. What would be really interesting to you? You really, as Leanne is also saying, the registration process is a great place to do that. But I think
Mhm.
you have to have real conversations with people. Like sit
Yeah.
down and have
What?
conversations.
What are you talking about? I
We've been
did
talking about this for years. I
I
mean,
know. I did a writing project a while ago, years ago, and this company had just an always on, like, automated suggestion box where it was software that floated an idea up to the top based on people submitting the idea and it being sort of internally approved at least that far, and then other people would vote on it, and then people would also add to the idea, and by the end of the day, a lot of these ideas, it was more around like product enhancements, would make it to the top, and sometimes they would actually do that thing. I'm wondering if automation could do some of this stuff, and even like panel picker type of technology, like what South by Southwest uses, have people just throw in their ideas for leisure activities and have everyone vote on them and start this way 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 in advance and get momentum, and that's a great way to co-create but do it
yeah.
around leisure. What do you think of that? Would that work?
Yeah, I think it's genius. I think that would
Yeah,
be really fun. And it'd be so smart to have an opportunity for people to do that in lots of different ways. The reg process, some kind of box on site, something on your website. I think it'd be really cool to collect all of that and to just kind of see what are the things that keep coming up. Jordan's talking about the pickleball tournament in the middle of the trade show floor, which did you just say PCMA just did that?
yes, one of the sponsors did it.
It's a good idea.
I would be so
I know you're a
so
pickleball fan.
on that. Yeah, it would be so much fun. But that's just me. I mean, There's a lot
No,
of
but
people
that's
who
the
don't.
thing is it's not just you. There's like
Yeah,
tons of people who really love pickleball and it's a
yeah.
great thing to add on. And you can add it like this one of our clients, they have a lot of people who are really it's funny because the whole audience has kind of gone from like very alcohol heavy to they don't really want alcohol there at all. And you
Mhm.
can just tell there's a lot of people in their group for whatever reason, they're all getting much healthier, which is so great.
Yeah.
And there was like group going walking in the morning and then it got bigger and then it got bigger. So we did a 5K at their last event in the morning on the last day and it was really great. It was like these are things that are even driven by the client. We're not the ones necessarily coming up with this, but they know that this is what people are doing. They like this and they were
Well, how
able to
about a
raise
5K with costumes? You
any yeah.
bring
If
an
you're
extra
like
suitcase with, a bunch of things, costumes that represent your chapter or
yeah,
something.
sure.
A lot of people like to dress up.
A lot of people like yeah, that's true. I think it's figuring out what each group likes. There have been,
Yeah,
and that's what's hard for us as planners is like I have floated lots of ideas to which the client is like, well, our group wouldn't like that. And I'm like, I'm
yeah,
not sure if they like, maybe they wouldn't. But then
yeah,
there's a little part of me that's like, maybe you just don't know your audience. This
yeah.
idea. I remember people used to always say about technology, well, we don't need a mobile app because our audience is mostly 50 plus. And we were like,
Right.
oh my
Oh,
God, could you
yeah, I remember
please?
that. Mhm.
But
Yep.
everyone likes to have fun. Isn't that just kind of a universal? It's just determining what fun looks like for different groups of people. Like,
Yeah.
what was the idea you gave before the show where you were talking about like younger? Oh, the pool idea. Share that one.
Oh, I could just see having a session in the pool where everyone, not everyone, the attendees are just they give them like little floaty things. Maybe you can pick your own floaty. You're on a banana, you're on like a diamond ring, or you got the unicorn thing, and the presenter is by the side of the pool and just giving their regular kind of presentation, but you're floating in a pool. I've thought for years about doing it in a spa, where you're just like,
All about it.
or maybe women only, or I don't know, it would probably be just so weird. But you're in your like terry robe, with your little
Oh
shower
yeah.
shoes and, okay, it could be a small group activity, something like
Yeah.
that. I was talking, with a couple of people from Dahlia Plus team on a thing we're working on, about other activations that they've seen at events, and apparently, like, a glam bar is a fun thing where it's not just your
Yeah. That's
headshot, they're doing makeup, they're doing hair, you could add on style, you could, whatever. It sounds so girly, but they said when they've seen it done, packed to the gills, every hour of the day, long lines of people waiting. If the whole floor was covered with, like, glam activities, it would probably be packed. And you don't have to
yeah.
do it all day, but people really like that because, in this industry, you never really do have time to, like, be totally together, have your hair and makeup and everything done. And it could be for guys too. Believe me, I know plenty of guys that love to have, a good moussed, hair thing done and, just facials and things like
Look at all
that.
those people doing like men and women doing those AI headshots where it like makes you into, I think even something like that. Remember the old like glamour shots where it like make you
Yeah.
look into something totally different?
Yeah.
That would be fun. And I think plenty of men would have fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
At, IMEX, they had one of those, like, boxes that you walk into and then, you can jump around in it, and it's got all kinds of swirly things. It's like, I don't know, it seems like just another way to have a strobe light so you can have a heart attack or a stroke, but, people love that. They were just
yeah,
in it all the time. I mean, it doesn't have to be like this full-on, activity, like, let's put a climbing wall in the middle of the show floor, although that is a good idea because a lot of people do it. But then again, it's one of those things, what if someone falls off the wall? You know, I don't
it's
know.
always some risk involved. I'm
Crazy.
going to go west in a few weeks, like
Yeah.
a week and a half. And I just got an email yesterday that one of their sponsors, the Westin, is doing something called restorative sound bath. I don't know what it is, but
Yep.
it's open to planners and it's like vibrations and sound, according to
Yeah.
the description. It's like a 30-minute thing. And it's offered the day before the conference
Mhm.
starts. So kind of you land and you kind of have this experience. And I was thinking, pretty cool option.
I have done forest bathing. So if you're, like, in an area that has access to a park or a forest, that's amazing too. It's very, sort of meditative, and there's a lot of pausing to really like listen and look. And that was an amazing experience. But I do love sound bathing too. Oh, and pool bathing.
I need
Apparently,
some some
I like
bathing in my
water.
life.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's all about the water, pools and bathing.
Well, they're not mutually exclusive. Why couldn't you have sound and the forest and water all at the same time? I mean,
Why not?
triple, the
Yeah.
trifecta of experiences. Or the things that I hate, and I've always told my family, never ever buy me this gift, is like the floating tubs where, it's dark, there's no sound, you're floating in water, whatever that thing is, where they block out all your senses. Oh, don't do that.
Yeah,
But
no.
supposedly majorly therapeutic. You could have one of those in the middle of the show floor. I
Could
don't
have those
know.
ice baths. I mean, look, there's the possibilities are
Or
endless.
those cryo
Yeah,
chambers where you go in there and like freeze literally your ass off for 2 minutes.
literally.
But you
Yeah.
come out like your cells have amazingly rebuilt themselves, and then you walk out like a new person. You look younger. I could do that.
I also really like personally, it's always a bummer to me if I'm going to an event, like unfortunately Go West in a few weeks where I'm like
Mhm.
you're at the event, you leave, and that's obviously just the reality with business travel. And I always feel like it sucks to just miss out on experiencing the area, wherever that is,
Yeah.
even if it's in the middle of the some whatever, middle of nowhere. I think it's cool to like experience the food from that area. I think it's cool to like see what's in that area. And so if there could be content sessions where you took me like on a bus ride and I got to see the city while you're talking, or some kind of, I love like food tours and the idea of like trying different things, even if that was brought to the hotel and you had the
Mhm.
opportunity to like try something new or meet new people. I just feel like it's such a miss when these business events just happen and everyone comes in and leaves. You
Yeah,
miss
I
the
mean,
whole location.
I've done travel, pieces in the past, and a lot of, what people request when they go on trips is experiencing the local culture. And yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer. The CVB will hook you up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that does speak to choosing a location that maybe isn't, on the map normally for conferences, but they have the space and they have a unique culture, like New Orleans, right? It's a
Yeah.
totally separate thing. Or New York City.
Or a
Totally a
cool
culturally
forest that
separate.
people could bathe in, that
Yeah,
otherwise they
yeah,
wouldn't be going
no.
to that forest because they'd
Or
be stuck.
Utah, where I'm
Yeah.
from. I mean, except I don't know about the food. We have great food, but it's not ethnic, and people are really into corn dogs. And I don't think
Oh,
that's pretty for a conference. I'm just saying, but
maybe there are
that's
people out there who've
me.
never had a
Or
corn dog.
sugary sodas, big thing. Anyway, I think we've done justice to this. I think Dahlia would be proud that,
You would definitely have banned the B word though.
yeah, I think we're probably done with it. After this, does not
That's it.
exist. It
We
is dead
cannot
to
talk
us.
about it ever again.
Anyway, so we have got some really fun things coming up for the rest of the month. So please join us next Thursday, same time, same channel. Liz, thank you so much. We wish you all the best at Go West. I know you're going to kill it on stage if you get there.
So cold.
If
I'm cold
if they
thinking
don't
about
have the dog sleds to get you
it.
from the airport to the venue in Calgary, right?
Yes, yeah.
Fingers crossed for that. And we'll see all of you, our geniuses, back next week at 10:30 Eastern on Thursday. Anyway, take care. Bye.